Now, one of the most essential things for us in order to be able to play the guitar, obviously, is going to be tuning. Now, we were a little spoiled when it came to our harmonica. You know, there is some tuning for the harmonica, but not every time. You don't have to tune it. And it would be very rare, unless you're like super serious about playing harmonica down the road, that you would even have to like anticipate that. But that's a whole nother conversation, and one I don't know too much about. But there are plenty of other people that do, and you can check those people out. But for now, let's focus on tuning the guitar. Now, this is a 6-string instrument. There are multiple options, obviously, but I'm teaching you the 6-string guitar and the tuning, which is called standard tuning. Now, there are all sorts of opinions about standard tuning, and I'm not going to get into it. I just want you to know that this tuning allows us to be able to play with a ton of different musicians, and it's very much a part of the standard of what Western music is tuned to. So, in understanding how we tune our guitar, it's very important for me to explain to you what strings are what, and what number, if I'm referring to the first string or the second string, third string, and so on. So I'd like to go over the parts or the string numbers. So just like Noam Pikelny says in regard to banjo, it's very similar for guitar players. Guitar players, we are upside down. So when we think about our first string, it's actually the string that's farther away from us. So that would be our first string, the highest pitch and the closest to the floor. And then our second string would follow. Third. Fourth. Fifth. And sixth. The sixth string is closest to us. So anytime that you hear me referring to first string, second string, third string, fourth string, fifth string, and sixth string, that's going to be the order. Now, there are also some pitches involved. You don't need to know this right out the gate, but I will mention them now because it can be really helpful, especially if you have like a tuning app or something and you notice like there are certain like letters and you're like, what does that mean? That's going to be the note letter in regard to each string. So when we start from the first string, you're going to be playing an E note. An E note, a high E. Followed behind it, a B. Third string is G. Fourth string is D. Fifth string is A. And sixth string is E. Now you might have noticed me like tuning it really quick. I noticed it was a little flat. That's actually what we're going to be doing next, making sure that each note is in tune. Now, there are multiple ways that we can do this. One that I suggest to you, like right out the gate, is getting a app, some kind of tuning app where you know each of those pitches, preferably one that's free. Guitar Tuna, the one I used to refer, was free, but like apparently it's not anymore, which is kind of lame. But it is what it is. I would strongly suggest you find one that's free, or you can purchase your own guitar tuner that's like standalone, one that you can like pick up at Guitar Center or like on Amazon. just as long as you know it's good and go through all of the reviews or what have you, so you're confident it will actually work. There's that option. And then there are other options that we can actually use reference tones. Now I'm going to be doing a little bit about that. You don't need to worry too much about it because it can get complicated. But I'm going to bring my guitar out of tune just a bit, and I want you to hear how I'm tuning to each string. So I'm going to put this guitar out of tune. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a harmonic at the 12th fret. Now, if you're like worried, like, man, I'm not ready for this, like, that's okay. Just listen for now, and if you can pick it up, that'll be cool too. I'll try to do my best in explaining what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is I'm going up to the 12th fret, and I'm getting a harmonic by lightly placing my finger on the 6th string. Now when I do this, I'm just lightly placing it on the string. I'm not putting any tension to where the string is touching the fretboard. And I'm just tuning by ear. Now that I have like a reference tone, I'm going to start going up to the 5th fret of each string and then playing the next note. Now this isn't perfectly in tune, this is just tuning on the fly, especially because my tuner app is a part of my phone, and right now I'm filming on my phone. Although what I do plan to do is to put in like the exact pitches so that you'll be able to tune to the exact pitches. Right now this is just on the fly tuning, just making sure I'm relatively in pitch, which is a very handy tool for you to learn. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm going to move to the 5th fret of string 6, and I'm going to play the open 5th string. Now we want both these notes to be in tune with each other. I'm going to righty-tighty, I'm going to tune it up. Not perfect again, but I'm going to continue. Till each note is in unison. That's better. That's way out. All right, so I'm gonna. Now what's really cool to do, especially because if we're on the fly and we're just getting a reference pitch, which is exactly what I'm doing right now, instead of using a standalone tuner via app or, you know, like an actual tuner, even a pitchfork, that is also a viable option. Instead of doing that, I'm just getting that relative note and then fine-tuning it as I go. So I'm going to do one more pass and then we'll see how it sounds. Now, just tuned to like my relative pitch, that seems pretty good, and I'm happy with that. Now, I've been doing this for like a really long time, so if that's not easy to you immediately, that's perfectly understandable. Like I was saying earlier, is like my brother-in-law was the first person to actually tell me that, because we grew up together. He was my buddy from like middle school and high school. Now, by the grace of God, he's with my sister, and that's like a very beautiful thing. And so praise God for that. But in regard to like when we were in high school, I remember like playing outside of a coffee shop and then him being like, yo, dude, I don't think that guitar is in tune. And I was so concerned about playing that I really didn't think so much about actually getting in tune. Getting in tune is such a great practice, and hopefully me walking through this, just a relative kind of pitch as a reference point, and then each note being tuned to the string after it, which is called tuning up to the 5th fret. It's called something way fancier, but for our purposes. And in recapping that, what I want you to make sure when you're doing this is on your own without like any other tuner, is just make sure that you have a good idea of what your reference note sounds like. In this case, with E being the reference pitch, so we want to make sure that's solid. And then we're going to be playing the 5th fret of each lower string and trying to get the next string in tune with the string before. Until we get to the 3rd string. That's when we're going to play the 4th fret. And then the open 2nd string. And because we're tuning just like on the fly and we're trying to get a relative pitch, don't beat yourself up over it. In the next lesson, I plan to actually show you how to do this with a tuner app. So thanks for watching. God bless you, and Lord willing, I will see you in the next one.